All right, we need to get that camera adjusted. We have got some breaking news. You think this is breaking news?
Yeah, I think it's breaking news. I think everybody in the community can learn from it.
Okay. All right, we'll get the camera, send it up here.
It's kind of a I told you so.
I told you so.
I told you so.
Who'd you tell?
Everybody. Not just
what about
like
the Catholic folks?
Oh man, the Catholics, the Pentecostals, the Presbyterians, all of them. Everybody should be looking at this news article and be saying, "Man, the Church of Christ hit it on the head."
All right. Well, we've been watching Bill White. I think they've had 3 stories on.
Yeah, it's been I think 4. No, 3 from Bill, and then I think someone personally wrote in defending Mark White.
Right.
Like a citizen of the area.
It looks like 90% of I don't have a real, but a lot of people seem to be supporting the pastor or the priest.
Well, I would say when the Catholic Church is as small as it is easy to get 90% of the people to back him.
Right.
The Catholics are almost like non-existent in this area. They are so small, Charles,
Yep.
that the Catholic Church in Martinsville has to share one priest with the Catholic Church up in Rocky Mount.
Right.
There are not enough Catholic members in this region to actually justify having multiple
But apparently
priests.
we're not the only problem, area that's got that problem. I think, like I've been reading in foreign countries, they've been trying to, the priests have been asking if they can get married.
Well,
but they can,
yeah,
because they've got positions they can't fill.
The idea that a priest has to be celibate is not biblical. First Timothy chapter 4.
You think that's the first problem?
No, I don't think that's their first problem.
Yeah.
No. Their first problem is the structure of their group. They have this one-man leader system, and that's what all denominations have, and that's why I say I told you so.
But one of the things, I watched the movie Spotlight. I mean, this seems like very epidemic, how they seem to connect with children and do all kind of awful things.
Well, the point that I'm making is there is no accountability. They have this huge headquarters, and of course it's structured in Rome.
Right.
It's with the Pope. Everybody is financially connected to each other, therefore nobody can be a whistleblower.
I got to do a technical thing here. Daniel, we got to work on that focus. We just set the gear up here. Switch to the tight shot while we're making an adjustment there. Okay. There we go. All right, we'll stay with that shot until we can get that adjusted.
Okay, so does that make sense? There is no way that, he actually says in these news articles, Mark White, he says there's no transparency in the Catholic denomination. You can't tell what's going on because he's a priest and he's really not.
Right.
I mean, he's not the biblical definition of what a priest would be. He has to answer to a bishop, who has to answer to a cardinal, who has to answer to an entire diocese. Now, with all of that, bureaucratic religion going on, how could you possibly get anything done? Which is what we're advocating through the New Testament, is every local congregation needs to be autonomous. We are governed by...
Who keeps you accountable?
Who keeps us accountable?
Yeah.
The Bible. And anybody could call us out, couldn't they, Charles?
Y'all like a board of directors?
No.
You don't?
No, because that's not in the Bible. If we had men who met the qualifications of an eldership, we would have localized elders.
I like doing a tough interview. I'm not trying.
I have no problem with
on you.
Yeah.
But you're saying the Catholic Church needs people looking at them. Don't you think the Church of Christ does too?
They do, and they're the elders. But for our situation in particular, are we not at the point, Charles, where anybody could call us out if they wanted to?
We mean the Church of Christ?
I'm saying right now,
I think people call you out every day.
Yeah, Sunday night, I put Freed Hardeman University big time on blast.
Yeah.
Anybody could come after me for that.
Yeah.
But they can't do it because we have the evidence, right? I mean, I've got their art textbook.
You have your evidence.
I've got the art textbook.
Might have some more evidence.
Yeah, I've got the art textbook from FHU, Freed Hardeman University, and I have their argumentation lined up with the same argumentation from pornographic magazine producers. So we've got them on the ropes. And if anybody could do that to us, they're open to it. We invite it. If they can help me out, I want to have it.
All right.
But right now, I mean, we are in a point of, I appreciate Mark White for trying. I don't think he was ready for it, but I think this whole thing could have been avoided.
He spoke to you today, right?
Barely.
What do you mean?
I don't understand how a man who is going to go against the entire diocese in Virginia can be afraid to talk to a 26-year-old. But he said, now is not the time, and you know how I do. I'm going to work it out of them, right?
Right.
I mean, when they tell me to leave, I'll leave. But as they try to dodge, you're not going to just get to dodge. So, I mean, I can...
tell me how your engagement went today.
Very brief, very pointed. And again, I say he's taken on the entire... Is there a bigger denomination than the Catholic Church?
I don't think so worldwide.
I don't think so. And he thinks that he's going to take them on.
I want people to realize that it seems to be working right now, John. this is priest Mark White.
Mark White.
Bill Wyatt. This is his story.
Yeah.
How do you think Bill's done on this?
I think he's gotten some good sound bites from Mark White.
Right.
I think he could have pressed harder. I think Bill Wyatt knows exactly what's wrong with the Catholic denomination, so I think he could have pressed harder.
You think okay, but you see, this is the priest. You spoke to him how many minutes?
About 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Yeah.
Did you record it
Oh yes,
on camera?
on camera,
On camera.
video.
All right.
Audio,
and
video.
we're going to see it.
We're gonna get to see it.
All right. We're going to probably do that in the second segment.
Yeah. Before we do that, let me ask you a couple questions, Charles.
Now you know I'm not a biblical expert.
I know that these aren't biblical points.
Okay.
What is the thing that you say that if the Church of Christ would do it, we would get more people coming in?
If you would be cooler.
Okay, you answer this, Charles. Is there a more interesting religious group in town than the Church of Christ?
Well, I find y'all interesting. I mean, I think the show I can watch beginning to end.
Yeah. Would anybody else have gone out and gotten this scoop for you besides the Church of Christ?
Well, Bill White's been doing it.
Bill White is not going to get you Did Bill White get you live footage? Right?
Well, he
No.
does newspaper.
He didn't get live
He does
footage.
newspaper. He does newspaper.
And Bill White's not going to press like we're going to press because
Okay.
Bill White has to worry about the heads of his job.
Right.
Again, I say Bill White knows better. Bill White knows that the problems with the Catholic denomination, he's not going to get the press because he has to report to his bosses.
Mhm.
So,
I mean, what he says. I mean, Bill White says that he is getting the story.
Yeah.
And he's getting the quotes and and discovering it.
yeah,
He's
Bill
not
White
put
had an
his
article
opinion
the
in.
other day that had to be taken out of the paper because it was false information. That's what I'm saying. He could press harder on this, and he had information. He had an article about meals in the local school system that had to be pulled from the whole website. So it could be better. It could be better because he certainly knows better. He knows how to make these different avenues, inroads with these people to make argumentation, and he's not doing it.
What's the question he's not asking?
How could this have been avoided?
How could this have been avoided?
Yeah. And the way that I'm saying that it could have been avoided is stop having this hierarchy system where this man is going to have to answer to somebody or he's on the chopping block. And you might say, well, that's...
But everybody, I
yeah,
mean,
that's everybody in every
everybody
situation.
has a boss.
Yeah. Except for the Pope.
And I understand a little bit of the of where the Catholic Church is coming from, from a standpoint. It's like, look, okay, we may have had a lot of sins in the past, but if you're sitting there talking about it every day, it's not helping us heal it.
The Catholics.
Would that be a good line if you're
No.
the diocese?
The diocese is not doing anything to heal it right now. They are trying to keep this under wraps as much as they can. That's not how you, I mean, you know. What's the best way to handle a scandal?
Let it go away.
You get ahead of it.
No, a lot of times, I mean, PR is come up with some brief answers, but you don't want a priest like Pastor Mark.
Do you think it was good
talking about it forever and ever?
Well, what's forever and ever? Because I mean, actually, the person he's accusing.
I mean, I admire what he's doing, but also, if I were the boss, I can see the problem.
Yeah, this has been going on since 1997.
Oh,
With this particular.
much longer.
No,
than
I'm
that.
saying this particular individual.
Okay,
right. Yeah, I want to go back to my question a minute ago. What I said about would anybody get you this scoop? You said Bill Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't call any preacher in town and say, "Hey, y'all gonna hit this?" Could you?
I don't know of any churches that investigate other churches.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
None of these religious groups are even interesting. When I went to this Catholic denomination today, how many young people in there?
How many?
Zero.
People with walkers.
It's not a joke. A bunch of, and it's no knocked elderly people, but I'm
Right.
saying that's how
That's
the
a problem in
denomination-
all churches, though.
Yeah. Well, we're
True or
doing
false?
okay. I'm saying, let's ask you now.
But in churches, what I've been able to see is, and I talk to a lot of churches, that's getting young people to come has become a problem.
Does any other religious group have representation from young people like the Church of Christ does in this area?
I've seen like Crosspoint has a lot of young people.
Okay. And I said representation, like Micah is 30, I'm 26.
Mm-hmm.
Do any of these denominations have young teachers like the Church of Christ has us?
Are you bragging?
I'm not bragging. I'm saying you always say, if you guys would do this, you'd be able to rake the people in. And I'm saying we ought to be getting credit that we're not getting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, Micah's 30. He's already been arrested by the local Baptists and taken to court, and they lost. Right? They lost. That's why we're really not worried about this. And I'm not worried about the Freed-Hardeman University either.
Mm-hmm.
I got on Facebook today, and the Freed-Hardeman University.
I don't know why y'all aren't helping.
He's part of the problem. He's still part of the problem. Until he stops being Catholic, he will remain part of the problem. He's not a Christian, and he would.
So you want speak out in his favor?
Hey man, I'd give him free airtime.
You would?
Yeah. If he'd come on, he's not going to do it.
Why not? Because the diocese are going to upset if they come
Oh
on. your show.
man, if they found out he was coming on the show with me,
Okay.
he would be beyond on the chopping block.
All right. We do need to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to see your exclusive, right?
Right.
And what are we going to learn? Tease us. What are we going to learn out of this?
Disappointment.
Disappointment. Disappointment in the priest?
That's it.
Is he caving?
We'll see.
All right. Stay with us. The priest interview is coming up. Stay with us. This is day 2. We're talking about priest Mark White. Of course, this is the Martinsville Bulletin article. Bill Wyatt has been following this pretty extensively. Going to Richmond. I'm gonna disagree with you. I think Bill Wyatt has been all over the place.
Yeah.
I think he's logged in more mileage than you have on the story.
Well, I've logged in more mileage than you have, Charles.
Okay.
Right?
I won't argue that.
Right? I mean, I drove to Rocky Mount today just like that. We found out when their mass was, and we got down there, got the scoop.
I won't argue that.
Yeah, but I want to say something else. You brought up Bill Wyatt again. Bill Wyatt is like the least qualified person to cover a religious story.
Why is that?
Is he not like a 2-time adulterous person?
Let's not get it.
I'm saying, you're not. You asked a question earlier about the priest. You said, is it a problem that the priests don't get to marry? Bill Wyatt doesn't get to marry.
Well, he's married.
He should not be, according to the Bible.
All right.
Yeah, I'm saying, right?
You guys,
I'm saying that's how we're going to fix the problem, Charles. You got this priest who's on the chopping block, but then you got Bill Wyatt, who basically is guilty of the same manner of sin, just a little
he's
bit
more
degree.
qualified to cover that story than just about anybody in this town from a standpoint of his journalism experience. He's a full graduate of Radford.
Yeah.
And he's a good writer, and it's getting statewide attention.
Yeah.
So that you can't argue.
Okay, and just like I said, about 2 weeks ago, he had a story that had to get yanked.
I think it had some corrections, and they fixed it and put it back in.
Yeah. Did you know that I was actually?
I do that all the time.
A lot of people would leave it.
Huh?
A lot of people leave it. I was actually commenting on that story at the very moment it was yanked, so that was a bit suspicious for me.
All right. Let's talk about, see what you got that's so hot. Now, set it up here.
Okay, set it up. We went to Rocky Mount. It's called St. Francis Catholic Church.
How does it compare with other churches?
You mean the building?
Yeah.
It's just a building.
Right.
I mean, I saw what they were doing in there. You talk about, Charles, I'm not trying to be ugly. You just a snooze, man. If you're going to Catholic denomination, you are going to go to sleep. You go in, they pray in Latin. You speak Latin?
No.
I don't either.
Right.
And I don't think anybody in that room in Rocky Mount, Virginia does either. So it's Mike and I sitting like there for you. You come in, we waited.
I actually went to full confession, I went to a Catholic school my senior year.
Wow.
I love the nuns. They're very interesting.
Okay.
Have you ever dealt with a bunch of nuns?
No, I've never encountered with a nun. I've had all my I'll tell you. I've had encounters with the priest, and who is more aggressive than the priest?
Huh? What's that?
Who's more aggressive than the priest?
You guys, probably.
They're secretaries, man.
Really?
Secretary jumped all over us again today.
She did?
Yeah. They try to say that we weren't allowed by law to be there.
But nuns are very interesting, very old school.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't know why they have these things, these offices that the Bible does not talk about. If you're going to be religious, doesn't it make sense to follow the Bible and stop making stuff up?
Don't you love the sound of music?
I've only seen it once.
Okay. But I am going to tell you a nun story, and I probably should do it because I'm breaking the subject. They had a deal at the Holy Cross. Holy Cross Christian is where I went.
Okay.
And they had a deal where they set up this baby thing. Like basically, we had eggs. The students, they're like babies. We had to look after babies.
Oh yeah.
For a week.
Mm-hmm.
So I opened up a daycare, and the nuns did not like that. Isn't that good? I said, for a quarter a day, I'll hold your egg.
Yeah, that's really good on your part.
Isn't that good?
I've heard a lot of that. Like I've heard people get a sack of flour. You got to take care of a sack of flour.
But they wanted to shut my daycare down.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. You should have gotten extra credit for just being,
I thought it was kind of like risky business,
Yeah.
They should have been thinking me, but the nuns got totally upset.
Yeah.
I basically was in battle with the nuns the whole time.
Well,
But I still love them. They were really fun.
Yeah, I didn't know that about you. I'm very interested to hear more about your senior year at a Catholic school.
Yeah, man, it was interesting. It was different.
Did you want to do that, or did you get kind of roped into it?
Kind of roped into it.
Oh, okay.
I went to a toga party with nothing else underneath.
Was that
with the
part of
nuns were there too.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear more about it. Well, can the producer in the back has got the screen, and so
okay.
We'll put up the video.
Set it up.
Okay, we go in, sit through the mass. We're all being patient. I do want to make a plug. I think the Martinsville Bulletin is getting a ton of plugs on this broadcast. I'd like to get a chance to advertise the Danville Church of Christ. Those are all of my brothers and sisters in Christ.
Right.
We meet at 120 American Legion
Cutting the
Boulevard.
heads off.
Well, here, I'll make it bigger for you.
Okay.
Thank you, Charles. Let's get it to come up. That's everybody. We got.
Where are the young people?
They're on the front row. You've got two 30-year-olds, a teenager, two 20-year-olds.
Oh, come on. I want to see some 16-year-olds.
One of them, yeah, I just said there's a 16-year-old.
Where?
It's just a boy, so you're not interested.
Where? I can't see the 16-year-old.
I don't know if you can see my cursor. He's got the shades on.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 16.
All right, I got
16 at that point.
I got you.
But, yeah, like I said, he's a boy, so you're not counting that, right?
All right.
Right?
I'm counting anybody who's 16-year-old. What are you
Yeah.
doing to me?
Danville Church of Christ and the Martinsville Church of Christ. All these people, we see folk out, Charles, they do, they recognize us and we want to talk with them. We always want to make ourselves available to the folk.
Right.
So, I mean, they know where we are. Just come check it out. Like we said, nobody else would get you the scoop. You going to cut me a check, Charles?
What?
For doing reporting work? Right?
Somebody's put you up to this.
Okay. All right, here's the setup. This is me and Mark White. And this is the thing, I will give Mark White props on 2 points. The producer can grab it. Mark White is a big dude, right?
Big dude?
Yeah, he's a big dude. I'm 6 foot tall.
Okay.
He's taller than me. He does not get rough. He doesn't try to throw his body weight around. And then number 2, they did not call the police. We stayed a long time. No one asked us to leave. He did tell us, I'm not interested.
Okay.
So if for setting up this clip, I offered him free airtime. He didn't want it.
Okay.
He said, I'll get back with you.
All right, well, let me hear the scoop.
Okay, so here it is.
Why don't you let me think about that? Okay. I appreciate your offering that. Let me think that over and I'll get back in touch with you.
Can I ask you just a few questions about these quotations? You're calling.
Now's not the time.
You begged for the Pope to resign, and you called that an act of love.
Now's not the time for us to talk about this, Caleb. I appreciate you stopping in, but I
why
got
is
a lot
this not
of things
the
I
time?
got to do. I got a lot of things I got to do today.
Okay, so I mean,
I'll be back in touch with you. I'm coming on the show.
Okay. You got a card, Micah?
I don't.
Can I write this down for you?
I know how to get in touch with you.
Okay. So
Okay.
I couldn't get your blog.
Right, nobody can.
Yeah. So are you going to continue to keep that silent?
Like I said, I'm going to obey my bishop.
Okay. So if you act
I'm going to obey my bishop.
silent, he said, I said, I can't find your blog. He said, nobody can.
Yeah.
And I said, well, if they tell you to keep it down, are you going to keep it down? He said, I am going to obey my bishop. He's closed. His blog is already down. The bishops are telling him to keep it down.
Yeah, but he hadn't signed the thing yet.
He just told me right there, I'm going to obey the bishops. So I don't know what else. Like, are you good with a verbal contract?
Well, I mean, as far as I know, he hasn't signed the contract with the bishop yet.
Well, here's the thing, Charles. You get online and try to read his blog.
Because you can't find it.
You can't find it. And then I asked him this morning, are you going to bring it back? And he said, I am going to obey my bishops.
Right.
And they're telling him don't do it. So I think he got in over his head, honestly. I mean, you got to really be ready to go for broke. And he's with 2 different Catholic denominations in town. He's been writing this up, and I mean, he's gotten good coverage, on his blog. His blog has gotten, if you're going for hits,
Did he get 1 million hits?
he got 1 million hits.
Yeah.
And now he's backing down. He could have 1 million hits, and we would have offered him free airtime, and he could have talked about all these different individuals. Nestout, how you want to say his name, came down all the way from Richmond. McCarrick, the person who's really causing all the problems,
Right.
all the way up to Pope Francis.
Are y'all going to Richmond and talk to them?
Charles, I think they're going to end up talking to us.
Really?
I mean, that's how it goes, isn't it? We're going to put this on the spotlight. We're going to put it on the show. And I mean, we're getting personal direct phone calls from Lane Perry.
Really?
Because denominational preachers in this town are so scared. Micah went to J.C. Richardson's church on Sunday, and other people in town are saying, "Are they coming to our church?" Do you know what the scariest words in show business used to be?
What's that?
Mike Wallace is here. Do you know what it is now?
Mike is here.
The Church of Christ,
Church of Christ is here.
They are scared to death, Charles. I mean, can you believe that we are getting phone calls to the police in advance before we even show up?
Wow.
And we're nice
So
people.
are you going to chase the diocese down?
We're going to follow up the story.
I mean, apparently...
This guy, I doubt we're going to be able to find him. If you read the story, he's in a place where it's like he's excommunicated.
Really?
I mean, this is not going to go well.
Right.
So,
All right. We're going to open the phone lines up now. 656-2255. The Church of Christ on the story now.
so I mean, he said it, didn't he?
Who?
Are you still waiting on more? He told me that he's not going to do it.
You got any more?
That's it. He said I'll let you
See,
hear him
I
say
mean, but that's...
Like I said, I'm going to obey my bishop.
He said it again.
So if you actually obey your bishop and keep your blog silent, are you not going to become just as much a part of the problem?
Let's talk about this some other time.
And I asked him, the last thing that I asked him was, if you shut your blog down, are you not going to be just as much a part of the problem as everybody else? And all he could say was, let's talk about this later. So he's fixing to take a hiking trip. That's why he can't talk to me. So he's got this story, right? He's got it in the paper. He's got us. I would give him some airtime. We get to talk, Catholic denomination, what's going on, and what's he doing? He's going on a hike. That's why I say he's not serious. Yeah, I'm saying seriously, Charles.
All right.
We put the university on the line.
Yeah.
We drove back to Crossville. Did you see the picture we picked up?
And you're going to Richmond, you say, right?
To see this guy, I don't know. To try to find the other man, we'll see.
You're on the air.
I mean, what do you think? Do they still use your station?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they have a great show.
Yeah, Carl Keith is not going to take on anything.
Bull.
What's he taking on?
He takes on. They're going into a series about relationships.
Yeah.
That's what people care about.
So, Charles, do you know how easy it would be for us to go down the list of the membership at Crosspoint and basically just find their inconsistencies? And somebody could say, well, we can find where people did stuff in the Church of Christ, but we try to help them out of it. I know of somebody who actually had their child out of wedlock. Somebody might say, Caleb, your sister had your nephew out of wedlock.
Right.
Okay. We practice church discipline with that. And my sister did repent.
Family is. All you want to do is stir something up, but you can't back it up.
If Carl Keith did have a guy, like let's say they had assistant pastor and he was my age, I wish that you could, and somehow arrange it. You be Don King. You be my Don King.
But, I mean, here's your problem. Anybody that goes up against you does not end up looking good.
What can I say about that?
Yeah, but maybe it's the fact that y'all don't find some common ground.
So
Well, all he's got to do is answer the question, Charles.
But I mean, it does seem
But
that y'all
not.
challenge people.
You're not
with
even
things.
into comedy.
No,
Oh,
Charles. They do the
talking
exact
to
same
him.
thing I do. They're just not good at it. When I went to this Catholic church today, you know what they said to me? A lady
The
coming
Catholic
out.
Church got to do
Let's
with
see.
my question.
When I came out of the Catholic church, you know what a lady said to me?
What's that?
She said, all Baptists need to become Catholic. Now, what is wrong with what I'm saying that all Catholics and Baptists need to become real New Testament Christians?
All right, we need to take a break. We'll be right back. Watch the local bus. All right, we're back here. I hope you can hear us a little bit better. 656-2255 is the number. We're taking live calls. This is going to be live calls up into the segment, and people challenge you. Go ahead.
Yeah, are there any other cult leaders in the community that you could have come on and argue with?
No,
this
okay, I thought
moron?
you were going to hang up on me.
Yeah.
So what makes us a cult?
You tell me. What's the difference between you and a cult?
Well, most cults basically have a one-man leader, like, right, Jim Jones, David Koresh. So I'm saying we have a system where Johnny
Not all
Robertson...
of them.
Okay.
So you think Johnny's a cult leader?
Of course he is.
Based on what?
Based on the definition of cult leader. Look it up.
You got to have something, right? I mean, it's not like, Elwood Gallimore. Elwood Gallimore is marrying multiple women, and who gets to stop him?
Have you ever read any other religious books or philosophy other than what you've been brainwashed into believing?
Who is this?
Sarcastic man.
Okay, so...
Who is this? Who is
Yeah.
this?
Let's get our live number
So-
up on the screen.
You just need to shut up and get off the air.
Let's see this. John Wilkins. You don't like that, Charles?
Well,
Everybody knows me. Why don't we get to know who he is?
well, I think when callers calling,
Okay, well, I didn't know that was a rule.
Yeah.
That's a rule?
Well, we call him sarcastic
Yeah.
man. You know him as that.
How about I do a news story on Sarcastic Man? You want to see Sarcastic Man, what does the Bible say?
So what now?
Do you want to see Sarcastic Man, what does the Bible say?
Like you gonna have him on?
Hey, man, I go find him.
Okay.
I mean, he sure rags on what we're doing, but what's he doing? Where's he even go to church?
656.
That's the thing, right? I mean, they're all knocking us, but they don't have anything to replace us with. What are they going to do?
Good afternoon. You're on the air.
See, I knew he would do that.
Hey, John, what's wrong? John, everybody knows my name. Why
Okay,
can't we know your
all right.
name, John
I
Wilkinson?
knew you would do that because that's what y'all do is you stop people and you ambush.
You hung up. No one stopped you. You hung up.
He said stalk up.
Oh, stalk?
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Well,
Stalk.
okay. Sorry, I couldn't get past
And
that.
you
Let's say this, Charles.
ambush them.
We went Sunday to J.C. Richardson's church.
My garbage?
We went to J.C. Richard Church, and guess what?
What's that?
Are you
By
going to dig
invitation.
through my garbage?
Now, can you possibly call us stalking when we went by invitation?
Are you going to come and dig through my garbage?
What would I find in your garbage?
Why don't you come look? Maybe I'll have a dirty diaper in there.
I'd be
for you.
scared. I'd be scared of what's in John Wilkinson's garbage. Right?
What would he find?
Come look. I dare him. I dare you to come look at my garbage.
You were honestly, Charles, man, this guy's out of his mind. I just said on the show earlier, we've got Lane Perry
I'm
making
afraid
personal
to.
phone calls.
That's right.
We're not worried about this dude. He is so afraid to even say his name, and when I said his name, he had a fit. This is
No,
like the
I'm not having
definition.
this.
Anybody can get on the
You are
phone.
a stalker.
I wouldn't be going through your garbage. We'd be knocking on your door. We'd be trying to get some
Your daddy,
talking points.
did your daddy teach you how to look through garbage?
No.
Do you ever find anything in there interesting you might want to eat? Are you a dumpster diver?
Boy, this is substantive, Charles. This is like,
Well, I mean,
Yes, don't you
but,
look at it.
but when we look into things,
Hard
investigate things, I mean, you have been through some garbage.
no, we didn't actually dive through anybody's garbage. We were door knocking.
Dive? Did you?
And,
Did you-
man, Charles, you got to let me have like something.
yeah,
okay,
I'll
you-
let you have something. All right. Come
Okay.
look through my garbage. I
When
got
someone
something
leaves their
for you.
garbage can on the front porch and I'm like knocking on the door and they got Smirnoff Ice, I can't just not see that. Right?
All right.
I mean, when we come up and there's just
Stop.
crushed beer cans and it's a
Later,
pastor's house.
brainwashed, whatever you are. But
Yeah, no one's thinking anything about John Wilkinson. That's okay.
Johnny Robertson,
Yes.
you on the air? Go ahead.
I'm saying tonight, Caleb can play the footage of us door knocking, and it's right beside a Baptist building, possibly the parsonage. And you look down, and they got beer bottles and different stuff like that.
Well, if
So-
anything, Sarcastic Man did invite y'all to look at his garbage.
He did.
Didn't
He did.
he?
Yeah.
He invited you to.
Yeah, John Wilkinson invited
How
me to do it.
How can he? How can he?
He can at this point.
I mean, it's kind of like J.C. Richardson.
Yeah.
It's like,
So,
look at my
but
garbage.
can I say this? So what if we did, dumpster dive for evidence? I mean, you got Tim Whiteheart who slept with his flute player for a year, right? I mean, it's not like that would be the worst thing that's ever happened in this community, and we don't even do it. It's like John Wilkinson thought he had me by calling me a dumpster diver. Well, I'm not sleeping with the flute player, so can I get some credit there? Right?
So, Charles, we are going to put this dude, your sarcastic man, on television now. We've held up, long enough.
Right, because he has challenged y'all, right?
Yeah, I'm saying we've had long enough to let him go. He's a coward. All these guys that call in, they're just they're couch jockeys, and we get out in front of the camera, so we're going to start putting their face. Caleb, did you get Joe Prater's YouTube?
Oh, yeah,
his,
I
Facebook
did.
up?
Yeah.
What's he got?
You going to
Okay.
show it?
Well, if the producer,
Yeah,
can
let's
I get
throw it
my
to Is this the
computer
wife
screen?
that's always screaming at me?
Yeah, that would be her. That
I need that
producer
picture.
in there. Well, he's not putting it up. There it is. That's Joe Prater, and that's Joe Prater's wife, who you can always hear her in the background saying, "They're just idiots."
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, Charles. When Joe, like someone was gonna say that I called him a nut earlier. We have argumentation, don't we? And we have reason behind what we're doing. We're not just coming up here to be like this dramatic play.
But
I'm
it
really.
It really does get an effect from people, though.
Well, I'm trying, like with this, someone's gonna be mad that I couldn't even give Mark White credit, and I had to say I told you so, but we did. We've been telling them so for the past 20 years,
Right.
and that's the same thing with everybody else. And you wouldn't believe how many accounts there are in this community of, pastors with illegitimate children, pastors with all these different problems, things like that. And people just bring it to us, and it's like, we wouldn't ask for this type of information. They just dump it on our lap, and they say, we want you to help us with our pastor. Really these people, they're miserable in the denominations they go to,
Right.
and that's why they do it.
Right.
That's why they come to us that
Now,
way.
Sarcastic Man might set his garbage up for y'all now.
Yeah. Well, that's
what I'm
like I
saying?
said, I'm not interested
I mean,
in
he'll
his
put all kind of
garbage.
stuff you can't even put on TV.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all.
All right. What's that, Johnny?
So one pastor in over by Hardy's on 58, he actually started crying right in his building because his brother took his girlfriend, and this guy's married. I'm talking, the pastor's married. He's messing around on his wife. She kicks him out. He's staying in the building, and then his brother comes in with his girlfriend, and he cries right in front of the whole congregation.
Right.
Now, how would you like that for church? That's kind
Preston.
of defeating the purpose, isn't it?
All right. All right, Johnny, I got some more calls coming in. Hello, you on the air? Hello? 656-2255. We got about About 5 to 6 more minutes to go.
So,
We're talking about the
Charles, you ever watch, like, back in the day, you watched Firing Line?
crossfire.
Well, I'm talking about William Buckley. His was called Firing Line.
Right.
I mean, why can't shouldn't these denominations be, preparing young guys to take over? Aren't you sick of seeing, like, these, 50, 60, 70-year-old pastors and the reason they won't get out is because they'll stop getting money. They're not worried about their cause at all. If they were really worried about the cause, they would put somebody with energy out front.
I mean, I think they might have a different approach than you do.
They don't have an approach at all. They just stay in their building. That's all they do. Like Larry Luffman down at Freedom Baptist, what are they doing? Now, I know that they do have, like, drug ministry, but, I mean, why do you need that if you're once saved, always saved?
You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to give them fair warning. If they're on my property, I will have them arrested for trespassing. Just to give them fair warning.
After you invited me? How are you going to charge me for...
I dared you to come on the property.
No,
and
you
look at
invited
my
me.
garbage.
Yeah.
And if you do, I will have you arrested. I did
Boy,
not
you are
invite
scared, man. I'm not even on your property yet, and you're already shaking. You're already talking about getting the police involved? Where do you go to church, John Wilkinson? I mean, I'm not surprised if he doesn't
None of your
go.
business.
I doubt that you go.
Well, you can doubt all you want to.
Well,
It's
it
none of
would
your
make
business.
sense. As angry as
It's none
you
of your
are, John Wilkinson, it makes sense that you go to a Baptist church. I'm sure you're tired of hearing the Baptist church answered week after week, and none of your pastors will step
I'm
up.
going to come to your church.
I don't have a church, so where are you going?
I will be at your church. What church do you go to?
Is he invited?
Yeah.
What church do you go to?
You know that the whole
I'm
community
sure
is
you're
invited.
shaking.
You
We'll
see
be coming
me.
to your church.
Man, you sound just so creepy right now. Let's
Yes,
all
I
get as
know.
quiet as we can. I mean, what are we
We'll
doing?
be at your church. I will be there.
You got other calls to take?
At your church.
Let's hit the other one.
I will be coming to your church.
Charles,
I'm
we've
sure
actually had
you're
people
shaking
come
right
in and they record. I mean, we had one dude bring his own tripod. Like, that's how prepared he was to tape us.
Wow.
And we also had a guy come in 2 hours away from North Carolina just to visit with us. He drove all that way, 2 hours on a Sunday morning for Bible class at 10 a.m. plus the 11 a.m. worship. And he asked us from the get-go, he said, do you guys mind if I tape on my iPad? We said, absolutely, go ahead.
Hello, you on the air?
Yes, I thought it was a federal offense to go through anybody's trash, whether invited or not. It's not your residence.
Do you honestly think we're going through people's trash? Where do you go to church, ma'am?
I think there's a fine line, young man.
Young man.
Respect for the people.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt.
So, you heard him invite me, didn't you? You heard me invite him.
No respect for anybody calling in, and also
What have I
am
done?
a Baptist.
You're a Baptist?
Well, and that's one reason, by watching how you stand for what you believe, I will always be a Baptist.
Well, we don't have anything to base on what you stand, because your preachers don't make a peep. Y'all are almost non-existent. You don't reach anybody beyond your four walls, do you? And I wonder, I really hope, Charles, she hung up, didn't she?
Yes.
I hope that my generation gets better than yours. Because, I mean, this idea about you call and sass and then hang up accomplishes nothing. Like she said, I am a Baptist and I'll always be a Baptist. And she won't be saved. That's why we do, like, I mean, the community doesn't know, but we're actually getting extra airtime. Like, we're fixing to buy more airtime.
Right.
So we already go 3 hours a week. Nobody in this town keeps up. No denominations. And it's like, I don't know why she's so upset. I mean, she says I'm disrespectful. And, she also...
I heard that they watch you in the Chatham prison. Have you heard that?
I've never heard that.
Yeah,
you know what? I would love... when I was in school in Tennessee, every Tuesday night we did jail ministry. We'd go have Bible study in the jail for, like, at least 2 or 3 hours. And I don't know if Lane Perry will let me in the jail.
You don't think so?
I don't know.
No.
It doesn't... I don't know how
You
much...
guys have some Lane Perry problems, too.
Well, he really tried to give us advice on something that was not the law. And it's kind of like, where's this coming from? Because I'm a peaceful individual.
Right.
When I go to denomination, they tell me leave, I leave.
Yeah.
I went to Stanleytown Baptist, and the preacher's wife wouldn't let me leave.
She wouldn't let you leave?
Oh, man.
She wouldn't let you leave?
It was me, Mike, and another guy, and she was in our way.
Right.
Chewing us out.
Right.
Secretaries and preachers' wives.
Right. You think Pastor White will talk to you anymore?
I'm hoping. My offer is still out there. If he wants to come on and present all of his information, if he wants to go down the list, we'll give him the time to do it. get to have some dialogue. This is one of those things that I would really like to have, let him get it out there, because this is a mess, but I'm saying he probably is not going to be willing to go as far as he needs to, which I say is he's got to stop being Catholic.
Stop being Catholic.
Yeah, he can't keep the Pope and think he's going to fix this. The Pope knows all this stuff is going on, and he wants Pope Francis to resign, but getting Pope Francis out is not the answer. You got to do away with the Pope altogether.
There's a new movie out, The Two Popes. You heard about it?
I've been seeing stuff about it. I have no clue what it
Yeah,
is.
go ahead.
Oh, that lady said something about I'm Baptist and I'll die Baptist. Baptists are not what she's thinking. Baptists are so ashamed to be Baptists, they're dropping their name off their signs.
We're running out of time. Hello?
Hey, how you, Charles?
Okay.
Why is he wasting so much time on a religion that's not even going to heaven anyway, and spending all that hate, time, and effort, whatever you want to call it, on something that doesn't really matter?
Let me read a quote here. Can I read a quote from the paper?
Or going to heaven.
He's going to read you a quote.
Okay. He just said that I'm spending my time. Did you say that I'm spending my time in hate?
Oh, you're wasting your time on the Catholics. Well, go to the prisons and preach to the people that need it. The Catholics are not going to turn. Very few will turn from Catholicism to anything else.
Well, you do this, okay? You want me to be in the jail? I want to be in the jail too. I want to teach them. You start calling the local jails and the local sheriff office, and you tell them, let the Robertsons in to do Bible study.
I've got I had a guy in Florida for 25 years that preached in the prison. He's wrote a book on it and everything, and he still preaches in the prison down there to all the people.
I'm on TV.
That's his way of reaching out to.
Okay, fine.
All right.
So he said that I'm...
So you want to get in the prisons?
Oh, yeah, man, I'd love to do that.
You going to sit Blaine and let you in?
I would love to do it. If he doesn't have a problem with me.
Right.
I mean, I would imagine other people getting to do it. I'd like to do it. I'd like to donate just tons of books. People on the inside. If they get to read Message to the Black Man, then they need to be able to read Muscle and a Shovel, given to them by the Church of Christ. So this is something he said, I'm filled with hate. Mark White, this is a quote from him. You asked me to apologize to Pope Francis. For what? And look what he says. For loving him enough to point out his problems. Now, why does the paper and Mark White get to view himself as loving for making corrections, but the community won't give the Church of Christ that same luxury? Honestly, Charles, do you think that we would do this as much as we do if we just operating on hate? I got people that hate me, and they eventually get tired. They give up. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I mean, they play out.
Right.
But something stronger is motivating us.
All right. Are you going to go check out the bosses?
Yeah, I want to talk to the people that are ahead of him. Like I said, with what we're going to do tonight on TV. I've already covered Mark White 2 years ago.
What's going to be on TV tonight?
Tonight we're going to still be talking about the college in Henderson, Tennessee, Freed-Hardeman University, and their art department, and really just how bad their student body is. I've been getting inappropriate phone calls from their students.
No pun intended, right?
What's that?
The student body.
That's it. Good one. And you know what I've been doing, don't you?
What's
if
that?
they're calling me, what am I doing?
You're taping.
That's it.
Right.
They're making the school look awful. So you're going to get to see full-on, absolute student representation of Freed-Hardeman. But we're going to tie it into the problems of the Catholic Church, and there will be a significant connection. Everybody will get to see it.
All right.
And I would like to make that point with the community. I was going to say earlier, would any other religious group have gotten you the scoop? And the answer is no. Only the Church of Christ would actually go talk to these Catholics that way. But also, we are the most consistent religious group in that we are willing to not only go to the Catholics, the Baptists, the Pentecostals. When we see it with our own brethren, we cover it.
We got to go because Mark Show will cut us off.
Will Mark? Okay.
Yeah. We'll be right
Sorry, Mark. Y'all have a good one.